Henry was 15, and he realized that we, his parents, were on the wrong side of everything. All of it. I was not only an agent of the old guard, but one of its spokesmen. I was in favor of the war, and our fights became more bitter, more personal. And we lost him. When you lose people that you love, we moved to some squat in Venice where the entire lifestyle was drugs and screwing. Didn't even have a shower. As we saw less and less of him, I felt helpless. Nobody knew what to do. We were beginning to be afraid of young people. People in this house were some sort of religionless theologians on liberation, or whatever they called themselves. And one day I opened up the LA Times and there was this article about a bombing. This group in Venice Beach was suspected. And I knew. I remember it so clearly. He shows up here, this filthy gray, long, matted, stringy hair and a filthy beard, and he was practically emaciated. We could tell he was sick. And he told us he didn't know, that he had no idea that he was crying, that he was ploying him. And I told him he had to turn himself in. He started arguing with me, politics like a child. But a man is dead, I yelled. And he said, so are millions of Vietnamese and Cambodians. So I slapped him across the face because I can't get through to him. You can't come back from that. He just looked up at me and ran off. I ran after it. He's gone.
And it all comes out. He's in the papers and we're in the papers and news people are all over the place going to our friends and I don't care. I go numb. I drive all over town. I drive all over LA and there he is. He remembered that once a week I volunteer at the Actors Home, and I was reading Dickens to some deaf and blind actors, and I go out to the car, and he's sitting in it. And he is unrecognizable. His clothes smell of rancid ripe cheese and homelessness, and he is unrecognizable. And it's a straight drive up. You can do it in 3 days if you just keep driving. Driving all through the night and stopping for donuts, coffee. Who's going to stop a lady in a blue Eldorado with her clean cuts? And he cleaned up so easily. Gave him a haircut and he almost looked 15 again. And gone with the rags and gone with the beard, and you put him in jeans and a Brooks Brothers shirt. And it was so easy. We didn't talk at first. And then he did. His talk was entirely self-deluded, and then he cried. I have blood on my hands. Everybody has blood on their hands today. And then silence. And sleep. It was just so easy. Just day trippers, really. Just a crossover. Before terror became the profession that it is today.
I took a plane to Seattle so we could say goodbye, which we did. three of us sit in this car. And this note, suicide note. And we're crying this apology. The night ferry. We dropped his rags on the deck of this ferry. We put the note in his shoes on the deck of this ferry. One of many ferries he will take. I hugged him, knowing I would never see him again. Of course, we knew that. I would never see him again. And I never have. And he said he was so sorry. And I said, so was I. And I said, I will always love you. But we can never tell anyone about this. And he said, what about Brooke? He asked, what about her? And I said, no child could be expected to carry such a secret. But when the time is right, we will tell her. There has to be some cost to what you have done. Maybe this is it. Of course, the time never came for us to tell you. I had no intention. I could have died right there. I didn't care. But your mother insisted that I live, that we thrive. Oh, I get called to the Bohemian Grove, and I go, and I host events, and we have people here. And all the while I keep thinking, if these men knew who I really was, I could never show a trace of it. Because as long as I can pass myself off as one of them, no one would ever know what I had done. And I think it's so easy for me. So easy. It's a lie. There's that. We do know that because the boat, it does ring. There is a click. You're silent.
The truth will out. He is always at risk. Anytime, anywhere. Always. And the history, the secret history of the Wyatts will put him at a terrible risk. And all of your questions, your unanswerable questions will turn on a light on a very closely guarded, carefully locked attic. Us in the papers, old pictures of him someone might recognize. We are all guilty of this, aiding and abetting. Now you know the truth. Publish your book.
I have spent years trying to. I have spent years of my life. When I was in the hospital, I tried to stay alive and not kill myself because it would have been too much for you to have lost 2 children that way. And he gave me permission to do it. By having done it, he paved the way and I wanted to follow him. Every day I have to find my footing enough.
Didn't! You haven't. You didn't die. And he is alive somewhere out there. And you are alive, and we are alive. For a little while, at any rate. It is done. It is done. And you are so innocent. And you're so kind. God knows, brave. Maybe one day you'll see him again. Probably. When we're gone. But in the meantime, this is how we've chosen to live. This is how we have managed to live in this world. In this world.